that speaks to something that frustrated me so much as a kid, which is like leprechauns and leprechaun wishes. I always felt, even as a kid, I felt like, just get me in a room with a leprechaun and I could reason with him. Just like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, dude. Just listen.
In 2022, two writers came together to finish what Universal Studios couldn't. A cinematic universe of monster movies called the Dark Universe. After 3 years and 30 scripts, their project was finally completed. Now, in 2025, they're back to attempt what's never been done before, a completely original cinematic universe entirely in podcast form. I'm Dalton DeShane.
And I'm Dylan Roth.
And you are now entering the Pod Universe.
Welcome to the Pod Universe. This is the podcast where we attempt to create an all-original sci-fi cinematic universe, one pitch at a time. I am your kooky scientist with a heart of gold host, Dylan Roth.
And I'm your Bustin' Makes Me Feel Real Good host, Dalton DeShane.
And we are here because now and then, despite being the only place where you can find a grand-scale cinematic universe made entirely out of original properties, we also have bills to pay. So now and then we throw the doors of our studio open and we invite our favorite storytellers to plumb the depths of classic genre cinema and pitch their own remake to our imaginary studio.
Now, does our guest today even know that we're not Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe anymore? Branson, were you aware of the rebrand?
I've been told.
You've been briefed. Okay. You've been briefed. Because our issue now is like our concept was already difficult enough to explain to guests, and now there's like an additional layer to it. And
two men in black suits brought me into an undisclosed location, and they said everything you know has changed.
Okay, so we can keep paying them. They're doing a good job, it seems like.
Yeah,
okay.
And they did the thing where they blindfolded me in a black Suburban, and they drove in circles for 2 hours, so I wouldn't know where I was.
These guys are fucking pros, Dalton.
They're pros.
We're putting that Patreon money to good use here. We've got goons. Our guest this week, you may have noticed that our guest this week is a writer, cartoonist, comedian, actor, and creator of the brilliant long-running webcomic Swan Boy.
Swan Boy.
He is one of the writers of the new Netflix animated series Strip Law, and longtime fans of our show will remember him as the genius who cast Larry David and Pete Davidson as our Dark Universe's equivalent of Abbott and Costello. Please welcome back to the Pod Universe for the first time, Branson Reese.
How you doing, fellas? Good to be here.
It's great to have you back.
I don't know if we updated you, but people in our Discord have been writing David and Davidson fanfic films.
Have they really?
They have been expanding. Yeah, they've been writing new specials to carry on the legacy.
Great.
I think just this week we had a reading for David and Davidson Go to Oz.
There's David and Davidson in Hell.
Yeah.
And there's David and Davidson Go to Oz. There are more, like, because we don't track the fanfiction channels as intently, just because there's too much going on and we can't keep track.
They definitely does, and we've incorporated David and Davidson into a few of ours. We did a holiday special that was Five Nights at Freddy's themed.
Well, you remember, he's the voice of David and Davidson.
Oh yeah, you did the voice.
Or the voice of Pete Davidson in that. Yeah.
It's really it means a lot to hear this and to know that fans have responded to this with the appropriate level of, I'm glad I'm sure we talked about this in the episode. It's been a year or two at this point, but the two actors who hate each other in real life as much as Abbott and Costello did in real life, I'm glad that resonates.
I would love to hear the conversation between those two about the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Boy, wouldn't it be great to be a fly on that wall? David and Davidson Go to Riyadh is this year's.
And I would also love the Abbott and Costello be like, I've been a bad little boy. I was an accessory to slavery.
Oh yeah, fucking Costello getting like the check with all the zeros on it and just doing like a slap in his face and his tongue lolling out and stuff. Just
I can see it now. It's like Bud Abbott would be pissed. He'd like slap him around and like, why you? And then he'd see the check and be like, this is a great idea. We gotta both go.
People are writing fanfic on David and Davidson. Have you gotten fanfic? I mean, I guess probably podcast-wise, you've gotten fanfic before. Have you gotten like Swan Boy fanfic? Are people like... I know that...
I see you repost fan art occasionally, right? Someone will draw something.
House of Decline did a tribute, didn't
House of Declines did one that was awesome.
I saw that.
She did like Loon Girl. That was amazing. I think more people saw that than have ever been aware of Swan Boy at any point. So like, I think there was a crucial mass of people that were just like, oh, brand new character that House of Decline created, which is very funny. I say, listeners, if you ever draw Swan Boy fan art and I see it, I'll repost it.
I want to check AO3 right now to see if someone's writing like
Swan
erotica.
Boy tag on AO3.
Is anyone writing erotica?
I hope so. There's some subtext to it for sure.
I did not find any Swan Boy erotica on Archive of Our Own, which means
you know what to do.
There's an open.
Yeah, pick up. I can't do fucking everything. Lord.
Now we haven't. Really
Everyone fucking tells me about his spiral dick. Everyone's like, "Oh, his dick would spiral the way his neck does." And to be honest, I generally don't mind being riffed at or whatever. People like riffing in my. It's like, oh, it's fine. It's forever. It's okay. That one, for whatever reason, it's like, grow up.
Don't tell me.
He's got a normal human dick.
Don't tell me what Swan Boy's dick looks like. I created
that feels like a bridge too far. It's like, I know what his dick looks. He's circumcised. I know what it looks like.
You don't think that's the first thing I thought about when I was conceiving the character?
I've also drawn it a few times. So that also, just like, pay attention. Yeah, it's out there. I've drawn
canon.
it.
Yeah. Learn the deep lore. Yeah.
Now we are, in fact, believe it or not, here to talk about a different piece of pop culture that is close to our hearts. Branson, you knocked us on our asses when you told us what you'd be pitching to us today. Now we're bending the rules a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, because we generally here in the pod universe, our studio, right? We're trying to make our original ideas, get an audience, turn a profit. Mm-hmm. And we do need, like all these studios, a little bit of risk management, right?
Yeah.
So we've been trying
to
bring in some brand established IPs, like we did The Happening with Josh Gondelman last month. The Happening is a movie that people have heard of, but it is not a movie that people like, and it is not alive and well as an intellectual property. Branson, your pick is an intellectual property that we only wish was dead, because every attempt to revive it has been in one way or another poorly received or awful. So if this works out, what we'll be doing is breaking the bank to pull this IP out from the clutches of Sony.
Yes.
So we can try and do it better. Branson, you picked Ghostbusters.
I did. Folks, I picked Ghostbusters. And with that lead up, how dare I? The audacity of it is really clear to me. Like, what was I thinking? I was just trying to think. I was like, oh, what's a franchise sort of genre film that's not huge? Because when I think Ghostbusters, I think one really good movie, and then 7 other movies. You know what I mean?
It's the Jurassic Park thing. Yeah, it's like there's one really good movie, and if it stopped there, it'd be amazing. Then there's a sequel that's like not as good, but at least it's the original creative team, and
it has the right watch. And then
it's like in a perfect world, that sequel would be the bad one.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That would be as bad as it gets. So I'm assuming, because it didn't immediately come to your head, that you did not see last year's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
No one did.
No, I did not see Ghostbusters Ice Level, which is what
basically.
I forgot there was, and that was last year.
It was last summer.
If you told me that was 6 years ago, I would be like, that recent.
Yeah, it's I believe it was 2024.
Afterlife, I think, was 4 years ago.
Afterlife was 2021. Frozen Empire 2024, and according to the Wikipedia, there is another sequel in development.
Well, because I'm sure it's designed. I'm sure the last one was supposed to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Ghostbusters relaunch, but
it did make $200 million on a $100 million budget, so that does seem like sequel.
So
territory.
Actually, they're doing fun. What do they need me for? Okay, how dare I? Actually,
we want what we need to do is that thing that we hate fan campaigns for doing, which is saying, yes, you guys are making money hand over fist, but what you really got to do is give it back to the fans.
Give it back to the fans.
Give back to the fans.
Yeah.
No, this is a situation where they gave it back to the fans and it got so much fucking worse.
Yeah.
As a result.
We need to give Ghostbusters back to the freaks.
Can we give Ghostbusters back to the freaks?
Yeah.
I think, actually, this is why I think my pitch is going to be successful. I think Ghostbusters, and the original is the only one that really adheres to this. I think it works best when it's a combination of the freaks and people who don't care about Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I think when those two are in conversation, you get the only good Ghostbusters movie.
Well, one thing that I've talked about a lot on this podcast is the reason the first Exorcist works so well is because William Peter Blatty is a diehard Catholic. He believes those things are real.
Yes.
He believes everything that that happens in The Exorcist happens in real life. And it is just him putting his own fears on screen. Much the same way Dan Aykroyd absolutely believes everything in Ghostbusters could be real. But then you also have the counterweight of Bill Murray, who's probably there just like, man, we just got to make this thing fucking funny, or like, or Harold Ramis it's that good balance of someone who's like legit like, hey, I'm fucking obsessed with the paranormal and I need to do something with it.
You have the one guy, you have Aykroyd, the true believer. You have the Harold Ramis is the guy who's, I'm humoring my friend.
Yeah.
Bill Murray is the one who's like, they don't know I'm making fun of them, but I am. Like, not actually in real life, but like that's the vibe that his character brings to it, right?
Let me get paid.
It's one guy who doesn't believe in ghosts, like in real life, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also I think this is a really beautiful element of the movie. He does not seem to believe in ghosts at any point during the movie either.
Hello. I'm Peter. Where are you from? Originally. All right. Okay. The usual stuff isn't working.
And it's like sometimes I get really pissed off watching stuff like that. And I don't know how much of this is just like, watched it when I was a kid, so it locked in at an important age. But I think there's more to it than this. And I think Bill Murray's doing something better than that, like just nostalgia. Because often I see comedians not committing and it pisses me off. And I'm like, just care a little.
Yeah.
And yet, in this case, he doesn't care at all about anything it's like Norm Macdonald, sort of like in movies, like Dirty Work, like Norm will say a line that like moves the plot forward and then mug to nobody. Like, why did I say that? Like that's like the level he's at in this. And like, because the rest of the movie takes it so seriously, it works. If everyone's doing that, it's Family Guy,
Right, but it's more like, I mean, for my money, there's only been 2 movies that have ever nailed this particular formula for, we can talk about breaking down the Ghostbusters formula in a little bit, but the idea of a movie that is both a really great genre movie and a really good comedy, but in a way where they're not at odds with each other at all. There's Ghostbusters, there's Men in Black, and there's Galaxy Quest. And in Galaxy Quest, the person doing that job is Tony Shalhoub's character, because his whole thing isn't that he thinks it's ridiculous. He's just high, and it doesn't bother him.
Hi, guys. Listen, they're telling me the generators won't take it. The ship is breaking apart and all that. Just FYI.
He's just along for the ride. He's not as active a character as Bill Murray's Peter Venkman is in Ghostbusters, but he's doing that same thing and sort of balancing it out, being like, yeah, I'll just behave like this is normal. Everyone else will be freaking out and reacting the way they should be. But by my being here, like, I just bring the level down from cringe just a little bit. But in this case, he's the main character, and so it levels it to a much less nerdy place. Like the original fans of Ghostbusters were not like people who are like, I want to learn about positron colliders.
They were normal people.
They were normal people. They were Saturday
Night Live fans.
Ghostbusters is a. I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know who needs to hear a summary of what Ghostbusters is, but we should break down a little bit of the original movie so we can talk about why it works. Ghostbusters is a movie that fell into a trend of late 70s, early 80s comedies of the slobs versus snobs genre. That is the kind of movie this is. It is the same kind of movie as Animal House. It is the same kind of movie as The Blues Brothers.
Caddyshack.
Well, and then you have William Atherton playing the same character he ends up playing in Real Genius with Val Kilmer.
This is
also a slobs versus snobs movie.
It's a movie about what if the most invaluable new defense science of the 20th century was discovered by a guileless sap, a quiet weirdo, and a game show host. Like, they are on a quest to make riches and make discoveries, and to fight the Environmental Protection Agency, because this is one of the most Reaganite films of all time. And it's just, hey, man, we're just having fun over here. Why are you trying to harsh our vibe? The villain of this movie is not really like, yes, the fact that there are ghosts is not really a problem for our characters. They like that there's ghosts because it gives them a job to do, right?
Yeah.
The villain
there's one ghost that's a big problem.
But they can handle it, right? They can handle that ghost.
They do, yeah. If the government would get off their back.
The obstacle to their success is the man in the form of
regulation.
Is in government regulation is the thing keeping them from saving the day. They should be allowed to walk around with unlicensed nuclear accelerators on their backs, destroy shit with no accountability whatsoever, make a shit ton of money doing it.
That used to bother me about this movie, but now I own and operate a copper wire factory that's located next to a river, and now I actually see where the movie's coming from. You know,
well, they say that when you're young you're a liberal, but as you age you get more conservative, and it's because we've all grown into our copper wire factories, and
now that we are all homeowners and successful business owners, we really relate much, much more to Peter Venkman in this movie.
I have a job taking all of the recycled plastic and melting it down into microplastics to put in people's food, and there's a lot of sludge that we get from
I got
that.
great news
we do
for
that
you,
intentionally. If we didn't hire that one guy, we'd all be fine.
Yeah, I just take a cheese grater to like a kid's sandcastle bucket and put it into your smart water.
What makes Ghostbusters work is truly it's something that can't be reproduced no matter what angle that you take. I mean, it's been tried now 3 different ways. It is the beautiful chemistry between these actors having a great time, taking a concept really seriously and goofing off for 2 hours.
Well, and the thing that Ghostbusters has that so many of its contemporaries in this slobs and snobs sort of subgenre don't have are the special effects.
Oh, yes.
Like, this is genuinely a special effects extravaganza, to the point that when, Universal Studios opened in 1990 and they wanted to show off all the areas of their movie production, Ghostbusters got the special effects show. This was the one that really went for genre in a big way, and pulls it off really well. The effects in the original Ghostbusters are really good. They're not a joke.
Yeah, the design of all of the gadgets is great.
Yep.
Obviously, the Ecto-1 there's a reason why this became a popular toy line upon which there is now a series of films. The iconography of it, the boiler suits and the firehouse. They didn't think they were making a franchise movie, but this is sort of the blueprint, right? You need characters with an outfit that people can wear in a Halloween costume. You need accessories that you can get toys of that are unique and immediately recognizable. They have like the PKE meter and the proton packs. That's like your fucking lightsaber.
Well, that's the thing is, I think Star
blaster.
Wars actually kind of got to this first.
Of course, they got to first. Like that's the formula. But they weren't trying to make Star Wars.
They were really laying the groundwork for Ghostbusters.
Yes, exactly.
If you think about, if we just compare the dollar signs,
yes,
like, Ghostbusters makes a lot more money than Star Wars, which is a mostly forgotten film.
But at no point do I think when they were making Ghostbusters they were trying to make Star Wars, right? I don't think that was the goal when they made the movie, but they checked all of those boxes in the process of making a really funny comedy.
And now it's crazy, like, obviously the longevity of it plays into a lot of conversations about just like millennial nostalgia and the sort of age of nostalgia that we live in now. But like, it is kind of crazy. Like, you talk about the Ecto-1 and the proton packs, just like the obsession people still have, like, on your Kickstarter Sucks, which Branson, I know you have been on a couple times. They like to check on this guy who runs a YouTube channel that's like Ghostbusters Daily. And this guy literally does post almost every day about Ghostbusters updates. And like, who
am I? Who am I to judge this guy? I'm looking at Gremlin stuff every day. Yeah,
we did the Universal Monsters for 3 years straight. I can't
YouTube channels about silly things.
Look, that's what YouTube's for. But it's just crazy that there's that much stuff to talk about. There's like, oh, well, the new popcorn bucket is out, and like, let's take a look at like how well it reproduces the proton pack from the original, and like,
sure.
Oh, well, now the new Lego of the Ecto-1 is out, and it's the 4th different Lego set. I think there legitimately have been 4 different Ecto-1 Lego sets. Like, let's break down like, and it is like 50 years later for what really was like a Saturday Night Live vehicle, basically. Like it is crazy how this comedy really broke into that eternal franchise. It seems so unlikely, but I guess that's why it works so well. And why it doesn't work now, you know.
I think it spoke to something like pretty pervasive in like culture, which is ghosts are freaky.
Yeah.
You know, like they're freaky and like you want to get them.
Ghosts are freaky and Sigourney Weaver's hot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean that's enough. That's more than enough to hang. Many movies have hung their hat on one of the two, and I've liked them a lot. You know? So together,
man, if only Sigweave had been in Men in Black, it would be like a true trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, because she was.
She's in Galaxy Quest. My personal favorite comedic Sigourney Weaver performance is Galaxy Quest. But this is another really good one. You could pick anything. You pull something off the rack. Dave. She's good in Dave.
I did not remember she was in Dave.
Yeah, she's the first lady in Dave.
Wow.
Which one's Dave? Is that Kevin Kline?
Yes, it's the one where Kevin Kline plays a guy who runs like a shoe store or something, but he's a dead ringer for the president, and then the president has a heart attack in the middle of having sex with somebody he's not supposed to be having sex with.
I was thinking of the wrong movie. What's the Seth Rogen movie with the little alien that smokes
Paul.
weed? That's Paul.
To my knowledge, Sigourney Weaver is not in Paul.
Hey everybody, Dylan popping his head in here just to let you know that I looked it up and Sigourney Weaver is in fact in Paul.
Well, what do you know?
I thought Dave was Paul. I'm sorry, Paul.
This guy's gonna have a tough time reading the Bible. I tell you that.
We gotta get someone in here to pitch a Paul remake. Right. Branson, you want to come back for Paul?
Yeah, I do, dude. I would love to talk about Paul.
Let's talk in 2026 about Paul. All right, so obviously this thing becomes an enormous hit, pop culture phenomenon. Chart-topping single that everyone still listens to every Halloween and sometimes all year round if you're me. And the toy line follows the animated series, right? 2 different animated series.
The real Ghostbusters,
good.
It freaked me the fuck out as a kid. It was scary.
It's Everett Peck, Duckman, the guy who did Duckman.
Really?
That was one of his first animation jobs, and he designed a lot of the freaky ghosts in it, and that's why they look so. I still think of they call him Sam Hine in the show, the Pumpkinhead guy. The way his gums work, and just Google. I can't describe it adequately, but if you Google a picture of him, God, it's beautiful.
You know what? But talking about they established the base, like the foundation for a big franchise mythology in Ghostbusters, and not exactly knowing who they had, picked the perfect guy to build that out on the real Ghostbusters. You know who one of the big writers on that show was? J. Michael Straczynski.
Wow,
JMS,
really?
Wow.
JMS worked on the real Ghostbusters.
I remember there is one episode that sticks in my mind because it freaked me out so much as a kid. The one where there's like a ghost that's like, it's a be careful what you wish for story. So like everyone's wishing for something and then she gives them like the nightmare version. And there's like this guy that's like, I want to get in touch with my roots. And she turns him into a tree. And I just remember like him like very grotesquely turning and like being trapped in like the trunk of a tree. And I was like, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
That really speaks to I know this is a bit of a detour, but that speaks to something that frustrated me so much as a kid, which was like leprechauns and leprechaun wishes. I always felt, even as a kid, I felt like, just get me in a room with a leprechaun and I could reason with him. Just like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, dude. Just listen to what.
Just be really specific. I could be specific enough.
There's an X-Files episode, a post-peak X-Files episode, where they meet a disgruntled genie.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid. I remember this episode.
That teaser where his mouth disappears freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mulder gets 3 wishes from this genie. The first wish, he asks for peace on Earth. She says, done. Everybody but him on Earth is gone, right? So then he has to use his second wish to bring them back.
This sounds really fantastical, even for the X-Files.
Yeah, the Monster Week episodes, they used to go pretty wild, especially in the later seasons, right? They knew they could be funny, right?
Yeah.
So his attempt before he eventually, of course, being Fox Mulder, wishes her freedom, Aladdin style, right?
Which is a huge mistake with genies, by the way.
Yes, like, don't do that.
There's a reason they're in the lamps. It's like really important.
Before that, Mulder writes this like 30-page document to try and plug every possible loophole.
That's what I would do
in his peace on Earth wish, and then. Of course, naturally, we don't see all of it because that would be, for one thing, bad television. But that's like, it always feels like we can work this out. You just have to be as pedantic as a genie would be.
Yeah, I think
I feel like it's the other way This is how I would do it with a leprechaun. I would talk to the leprechaun and be like, look, man, my life is good in some ways. It's hard in other ways. I'm not trying to fuck with you. Like, if you just help, I'm also a lot bigger than you and I could kill you. Like, if you just help me out here, like, for real, just do it. Just do me a solid. What do you like? I'll get you like a little potato or something. Yeah. Like, I'll help you. Just work with me, you know?
You're not trying to plug the holes in your wish. You're just trying to convince him that, like, hey, you don't need to do this.
I'm cool. I'm not some kind of asshole.
I know I'm not. I know my brain. I'm not going to be able to plug all the holes in my wish. So my better chance of success is to just get him to make eye contact. I think if I can really make eye contact with the leprechaun and just say, please. Like, I think that maybe part of the problem too is everyone's asking everything. You know, it's just like, oh, a leprechaun, my chance to get a wish. I'm going to meet this guy. I'm going to ask him what's going on in his life. I'm going to get him food. You know, like,
here's what you do. Here's my strategy. You get 3 wishes, right? First wish, as an act of goodwill, ice cold Guinness for the leprechaun. Wish 2 is going to be my real wish, but I'm going to say, if you don't fuck with me on this, my third wish is going to be another ice cold Guinness. And I already gave you the one.
That's
so
I'm leaving the full tip on the table. You know, and it's like I take a little bit off every time.
Yeah. Look, you want the second?
An episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza frees a genie.
I like this.
Yeah,
I also think
it's like Gondelman on the show. So
because I feel like, okay, in a world where genies aren't like these creatures that must be bound to lamps because they're they could like destroy reality otherwise. I would just I rub the lamp, genie comes out. I'm like, all right, first wish. Regardless of how I feel about anything, you're a sentient being. We can't keep you as like a lamp slave. You're out of it. Doesn't matter. You're out. Second wish is not a wish anymore. It's just like, hey, you remember that thing I did 2 seconds ago? Like, would you want to do me a solid? Like, I do still have problems in my life.
So you're saying that, like, if you were to free someone from slavery, you would expect it to be somewhat conditional.
No. Well, that is, I guess, accidentally what I just said. And so I take back everything I just said.
Okay. We are now knee-deep in Branson's pitch for Wishmaster.
Yes, all right, let's get back.
Let's get back to Ghostbusters. So they do the sequel, Ghostbusters 2, and they do the classic comedy sequel thing, which is, let's just make the same movie again, and the jokes will be a little bit different. And so you get the diminishing returns. But I think in hindsight,
it's not that bad.
Pretty good. I mean, I have a real soft spot for Ghostbusters too. I like it. I enjoy it.
I like it a lot. And as a kid, I didn't know that it wasn't as good. You know, it was just like, oh, I get another one. This is incredible. It's exactly the same to me. It's got one thing that Ghostbusters doesn't have that is better, which is Peter McNichol.
Oh, he's so good. I do Janish bits at home all the time, especially since I have a child now. And sometimes I'll be like, if I could bring the baby.
It's got slime.
Why am I dripping with goo?
My family, we still say the disinterested.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
So quotable. And of course, it has its own great iconic moments. It has the Statue of Liberty walking through New York. And
oh, yeah, that's in the second one. You're right.
Yeah, the shorthand in my household for mood is my slime positively charged or negatively charged? That is how we talk about it. We talk about my slime all the time and how it has what emotional
energy.
Are you
trying to have another kid?
In that sense, my slime is completely inert. I had a vasectomy.
We talk about your slime in my household too all the time. We're always talking about it.
As a kid, I didn't even know they were 2 different movies because I was exposed to Ghostbusters. I think this is, maybe not an uncommon experience, but like my dad would be flipping through the channels or something and would land on Ghostbusters and be like, hey, come in here. This movie's great.
Yeah.
And he would bring me in and I remember, but then he would tell me to close my eyes for the scary parts. Like I remember the slime in the bathtub going after the baby.
Oh yeah.
He'd be like, close your eyes. Don't watch this part. I'll let you know when it's over. And like, so I just saw Ghostbusters in like bits and pieces of the 2 of them in like random order and being like, this is something I love. And then very much.
Hey, Dan Aykroyd's getting dome. Close your eyes.
Yeah. Like can't. It might
restore that subplot. We all need to know.
I might have been able to watch that because it's like I wouldn't even know what. He makes a goofy face. That's
I had
funny.
no idea what was happening.
Yeah,
I think the logic of that is so funny. It is so funny because either something awful is happening, either a ghost is like pleading with him, like, not me, like, which is awful. That's a dreadful thing. Or that ghost is like, I think it's awesome that you trap us. It's one of those two, I think. And they're both really weird things to put in a movie.
So the fact that you can watch them so interchangeably, it kind of, it has that feeling of a sequel, which is like, oh, it's just like another episode of the show, right? Mm-hmm. Except for it has to do the thing that almost every Ghostbusters movie does, which is undo the previous movie, where so that they can be underdogs again, or so that, because if everyone believes in ghosts, then you can't redo that conflict, and then you have to use your imagination, which we all know Hollywood frowns upon. So and so that one,
which is crazy because it's such an imaginative blockbuster. It's like clearly the ability to do that was there. It was there once,
right? We still have it. It's not the storytellers whose imaginations are broken.
Yeah.
So they made that second one, and for decades, there's talk about making a Ghostbusters 3.
But we just have the cartoons.
Yeah, the toy line continues to expand. It remains in the culture, but now you have a generation of kids who have grown up with Ghostbusters as a thing they liked as a kid, as opposed to a horny comedy for adults who watch SNL.
I think very crucially to a lot of this like really hardcore nostalgia for it, I think it is a shorthand for people's relationships with their dads. For a lot of people.
Fuck. Got me dead to rights on that one.
Look, same. I just said that, but like, I think there are a lot of emotionally stunted people out there who like.
Once again.
and it's so funny because then to make the movie for that audience, they hired a guy who was the son of the guy who made the first one
to make it about
a movie about his relationship with his dad. Like, so it's.
I think it is absolutely like there are a lot of people who are like the whole like. You ruined my childhood is a phrase that comes up in a lot of fandom culture, but I think mostly came up in regards to the 2016 Ghostbusters. And I think there was a level of my childhood is being ruined in that I don't have a framework for dealing with like my relationship with my dad other than the shared pop culture that we have that when I was a child and happy would enjoy with him. And so if you are fundamentally changing that in a way that I don't recognize, then it's kind of like I don't recognize my father because I don't have any other way to do this.
I think when you don't have opportunity to like succeed or like own land or you know what I mean? It's all just like, well, what pop culture do you consume? It's like, you are going to get stuff like that.
Right. All right. I'm trying to remember who it was who said this, and if anyone remembers where this kind of comes from, is that sentiment. It's that today's culture war around pop culture is completely symptomatic, or at least strongly symptomatic, of our generation and younger generations' inability to feel like we have control over anything important. And the only thing, the only arena in which our voices are ever heard is the stupid shit like Sonic the Hedgehog looks bad in this trailer, you have to fix it, right? And Ghostbusters became one of those terrible examples because they made a Ghostbusters movie in 2016 that was fine, I guess. It was certainly
It's got some okay stuff.
It's got some it's got some good gags.
They made this movie, they made the 2016 movie using a sound formula, which is attempting to reproduce the magic of the original by saying, we've got this premise. The premise is fine. Let's get 4 funny people from late night TV with some movie star qualities. Let them have fun. And the rest will kind of fall into place. The rest didn't really fall into place.
Well,
but certainly the problem with that movie
sin
isn't that it's 4 women starring in it.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the number one sin of that movie is, for me, like on a functional level watching it, it opens with its best joke. The best joke in the whole movie, I think, is early. Zach Woods is like describing, he was like, this fence was built in like 1903 to keep Irish out. And I remember being like, oh, damn, like, here we go. This is going to be a very funny movie. Like, that's a great joke. And it's not like the best joke in the world, but it's like certainly a promising joke.
Yeah.
And then no moment in the movie is as funny as that. It's like, far be it from me to tell someone how to structure a movie, but like I wouldn't open with the best joke.
Well, and this gets to like the angle of a requel, right? Because at this point in 2016, Hollywood hadn't like nailed their formula for what we now know as like the requel or the legacy sequel. And so it's going to be interesting, Branson, to see what direction you come at this from, and knowing you, it's going to be none of the above. It's just gonna
we're expecting it to be something that we couldn't predict, like David and Davidson.
But like the later Ghostbuster sequels, Afterlife and Frozen Empire take now the very Hollywood thing, which is like we revere these past movies, but these are like new characters, but we also bring in the older people as like sort of an anchor, and it's very reverent to the lore and everything.
To the extent that it's no longer a comedy. They forgot that they're supposed to be funny, and it's just an Amblin-style adventure film about kids discovering how cool Ghostbusters toys are.
It's just Stranger Things with a toy tie-in.
And further, they have to do that thing because they have to make sure, because now that we're all following the formula set by The Force Awakens, they have to undo the victories of the previous films so that you can start with, but what's Ghostbusters? Like the big crime that has to, one of the big cultural crimes that has to be solved by the characters in the movie is nobody remembers the Ghostbusters anymore.
The whole city was freaking out. And then these physicists showed up with these portable proton accelerators and blew the roof off of Manhattan high-rise. None of this rings a bell?
I saw that one on a plane, which is not fair to a movie, but also I was like, I'm never seeing this otherwise. But I thought it was very funny that they call it like the incident in 84 or whatever, when like the Stay Puft. It's like, so that happened. We agree that happened. That means that the whole world at once learned that when you die, you turn into a wet puppet.
Yep.
And that's just like a forgotten thing. Like, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would there would be war. There would be no church. Like what?
So when I reviewed this movie at the time, I did acknowledge, like, okay, we know now in the late 2010s how easy it is for culture to just kind of forget an entire historical event or era because they feel like it, right? Because it doesn't mesh with their worldview. I could almost buy it, but I wish they'd made that part of it, right? Rather just be like, Paul Rudd is just the sweet guy who remembers the Ghostbusters, and nobody else does, and he's got to show his kids Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
you just a rite of passage in every dad's life to show their kids Ghostbusters.
You just need someone to be like, the military couldn't figure out a way to profit on this, so we just kind of memory hold it instead of turning it into what the world is now.
Which is maybe something interesting, but it is the equivalent of like Christ appeared in the sky and he's Brazilian now, and we don't, and then he disappeared, but we all saw it. And now 30 years later, this kind of crazy guy remembers that happened. Are you kidding me? Like JFK blown away. Like we all remember that. We talk about it. You know what I mean? Like that's not a 10th. That's not 100th as like status quo altering as there are ghosts and you will become one and they don't look like people. Like that's crazy.
There's life after death and there's ghosts. Some of these dead people are currently living in a radioactive box in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's really pretty fundamentally flawed from the start. But which is why I'm saying like the Paul Feig approach, Paul Feig approach is, I like that, where he's like, well,
sure,
this isn't, I'm not just gonna like be okay, well, and then what happened next? Like what he knows that what makes Ghostbusters good is like, yeah, we got a lot of funny people, but we did like this kind of horror movie. Let's do that again. And that I think is the kind of approach that I think you and I have been more interested in like, you know, like recreating not, you know, like the things you remember about the plot from these movies, but like, okay, what was the magic here, whether behind the scenes or in front of the camera or whatever, and like, let's iterate on that instead. And for Ghostbusters, it's not, you know, the story necessarily. It is just the sort of miracle of this object.
Right.
The mythology that people got attached to through the expanded stuff, like there's also some pretty good Ghostbusters comic books, right?
Sure.
The cartoons are good. These are
there was
things,
that great like video game for PS3 or whatever.
That's like essentially what Ghostbusters, that is Ghostbusters 3 for all intents and purposes, right?
Dude, a guy I went to high school with would send me Ghostbusters stuff all the time. I did not know this kid very well. Something, I don't know if you guys had this, but I certainly growing up, like, I don't know what's a nice word for it, but, off the beaten path people would really zero in on me and be like, you get my special interest.
I'm a magnet for that. I am a magnet for that. Yeah.
You can join our Patreon for $5. Patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton.
I say this with love. I like this kid a lot. You know what I mean?
Sure,
He was like 3 years younger than me. I on some level, I think he was like, you must like Ghostbusters because I really like Ghostbusters. And he would like Facebook message me about like news about that video game and stuff. And I lost touch with him, but I would love to know what he thinks about, because like more than I trust myself, I want to know this guy's, honestly, my feeling is if this guy is happy, who cares? I don't give a shit if I like the movies or not. You
can go check his channel, Ghostbusters Daily, right here on YouTube.
If Branson's old friend from high school who loves Ghostbusters, if you are watching, please, in the comments, let us know. And, maybe provide some kind of proof that it's you. I don't know how you do that on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. Well, please provide your photo ID.
Yeah, social security number.
Just like you have to do.
Yeah. It's out there anyway.
Yeah. I have it right here. Branson, we are so excited to hear what you have for us. Like, what is the angle that you have for Ghostbusters that no one with a checkbook has thought of? And can we write you a big old check to pretend to make it? The money will also be imaginary. We'll be right back. We're going to hear a little bit from our sponsors, and then we'll come back and hear Branson's pitch for Ghostbusters. This episode is brought to you by Rogue Centaur's new solo RPG, Return to Blacktail Harbor. Nestled on the Salish Sea, the cozy island of Blacktail Harbor is hosting a wedding. Not everything on this trip is cause for celebration, however. 15 years ago, this town was the center of a spree of grisly murders that devastated the community. Some believe the murders are in the past and that the struggling town can now at last recover. But strange things have begun to happen again. One guest has gone missing. Another swears they're being watched. You fear that for Blacktail Harbor, the worst is yet to come. Return to Blacktail Harbor is a single-player murder mystery journaling game where you play as a guest investigating the mysterious events surrounding the wedding and try to stay alive. The game features randomized characters, clues, and scenarios, as well as 6 potential ending routes, so every playthrough will be a unique and thrilling mystery of your own making. Plus, it's pay what you want, so you can try it out for free. Thanks, Rogue Centaur, for supporting our show, and we hope you, gamers in the audience, will consider checking out Return to Blacktail Harbor. You cannot beat the price. Go to roguecentaur.itch.io/blacktail to download the PDF. This episode is brought to you by Ritual Deck, a supernatural trading card TTRPG. In Ritual Deck, play as moody teenage card duelists possessed by amnesiac spirits, solving mysteries and resolving threats both supernatural and mundane to recover their lost memories and stop the return of an ancient evil. It's for 3 or 4 players and a DM, Duel Master. This game is most heavily inspired by the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime and manga, but also by various other movies, anime, and games from the late 90s through the early 2010s, including the Persona series, Metal Gear Solid, Ace Attorney, Naruto, the live-action Speed Racer movie, and so much more. This is a combination, Dalton, that intrigues me. I have to say, I'm not a TTRPG person, but I do have a digital copy of this.
And your ears perk up.
I love Metal Gear Solid, and I love Speed Racer, and I love the idea that they could be in the same thing, like as the 2 similar concepts. I did grow up with Yu-Gi-Oh! So as somebody who has a copy of this in my mailbox from this sponsor, I'm going to have to give this a look and report back next time, because I think that we have 2 more ad reads for this in the next couple weeks. I'll let you know. I'm going to have a look at it.
Imagine Solid Snake in a really fast car.
I'm imagining it, and I'm sweating. You can order your copy from +1exp.com. I don't always have time to really dig into these ad reads because, making the show is pretty far. I'm going to have to give this a little look. I'm going to have to report back because I'm very intrigued. And if you want to have a look, you can go to +1exp.com to see what's up. And thank you so much for doing that and checking us out, because one of the ways you can help us out on this show is show our sponsors you're paying attention. Click through, buy something if you like it. We're really hoping to maintain this idea of sponsors that are small creative people supporting each other. So, hey, now back to our show.
Welcome back to the Pod Universe. We are here with Pod Universe superstar Branson Reese, who has done something really gracious, which is taken a lot of heat off of Patrick Willems. Because Patrick Willems previously, who pitched our Jaws episode, has been the recipient of the most angry YouTube comments, I think, of any episode of our show.
We get very few haters at the small scale our show is at right now as we record. We get very few people who comment just to say they hate something.
Yeah.
That one got some.
So that one got some, and I think a couple people maybe have thought that it was real, like we were actually trying to make a Jaws
that was the
sequel.
danger of. That's the danger of like having a really weird premise for your show and then having a guest on who's going to...
Oh, I don't think they watched any of it. I don't think even if the context was clear. But yeah, now that you have picked Ghostbusters, that really guarantees some insane YouTube comments that you don't ever have to see.
You don't have to see them. I have to see them.
I never do.
Yeah.
It's a real treat to just take your computer screen and close it,
It's so nice.
You can find Branson on Blue Sky at...
Yeah, I love deleting...
Yeah, talk to me on there. I love it when you do.
My favorite thing is when someone writes a really long, mean comment and I see it as soon as it's posted and I immediately delete it because I've just wasted so much of their time. Like they sat there and typed it and thought of it and had some typos and deleted and then fixed it and I just eliminated it from existence as soon as it
I know sometimes people
will
will start they'll do a switch to compliment you. It'll start as an aggressive looking comment and then they'll do some sort of comic switch at the end to be like, but I'm a huge fan. Is that what I'm actually saying? I gotta say, maybe I've seen that in the wild. I've never seen it my way because anytime a comment that's more than a sentence long, I'm just I see where this is going, and I just don't. It's gone. I make it go away.
Yeah, you should probably reverse that. It's the compliment sandwich, right? Mm-hmm. That's how that works. But Branson, what is what did draw you to Ghostbusters for this pitch? Did you already have an idea for a Ghostbuster, and you were and then we asked, and you were like, oh, great, an opportunity for this, or did you think about the movie first and then come up with the pitch? How'd you get here?
It was a little of both. It was you guys were describing the premise of this iteration of the show and how it works, and I was like, I wonder if I have an idea for that. And I realized I have always sort of had this idea about Ghostbusters since the sequels started coming, where it's just you get that little I'm the only smart person who's ever been born feeling.
Oh, yeah. We live off that.
Yeah, that's the whole show.
Oh, yeah. It's very intoxicating for dumb people like me, to get to feel that way. And I'm wrong. But I had this where I was like, what works about Ghost? What do I like about? And that's sort of when I was like, oh, I've had this thought already. There is a franchise I can just do this with. I want to back up for a little and just talk about what it is in Ghostbusters that I think works. So,
of course.
The legacy sequels where it's the theme from The Natural playing as you look at a dusty baseball mitt, Ghostbusters is about my dad. Is that's, I don't know what in the source material that comes from. God, I'm probably your dad directed the movies is what that comes from. But me, I have to live with my dad looks and is personality wise not that far off of Peter Venkman. So that it's that's my end of the movie. What to me appeals to me about the movie is it's this very heightened genre idea of ghosts and ghouls, and it's being handled not by superheroes or not by cool or even interesting people. It's being handled by garbage men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're janitors and they're garbage men and they're unimportant in the world. Not, everyone's important, but you know what I mean? So they're not big deal guys. Yeah. One of them's just a straight up con man who's just wasting his life. They're not these. And so it's this almost blue collar sort of working class, take on money is a huge issue for them the whole time. And it's this grand, wild sort of fantasy sci-fi horror pitch being handled by guys like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys when I would watch, I'd be I'll probably grow up and be a guy like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I watched Clerks as a kid. I was I'll just do that when I'm grown. I won't make money. I can't. I'll just do that.
It's funny, what you're saying, in that original movie, they are dressed like janitors, like garbage men. It is very much a very plain, but now in the new movies, it feels they're wearing a Ghostbusters costume.
Yeah.
Right.
The symbol has been refracted, so many times that it no longer has the same meaning. It's But like you're saying, like, yeah, they had a very working class New Yorker aesthetic.
And I don't mean to denigrate janitors or garbage, but I hope it doesn't seem
not
like
at all.
I'm coming off.
I mean, it's just talk about these are
they go on strike on my street, and I'm a political terrorist by the end of the week.
Well, that's the thing.
It's
not about them being lesser; it's about them being underappreciated.
Yes, it's the
right?
somebody's got to do it jobs, right? If the Ghostbusters, if the Ghostbusters stop work, the city is doomed. But it's a shitty job, and no one would want to do it.
Someone asked in our Discord recently, they were like, well, how do you, if we're, talking about everyone should be paid better, like, how do you pay doctors? And I was like, I don't know, but doctors and garbage men should be paid exactly the same. That is my only stance, is like that. Both of those people, give them whatever they want.
If this person picked up and stopped working, people would die.
Yeah,
this is true of both of these jobs.
It's dangerous. It is, unpleasant. It is essential. Give them whatever they want.
And crucially, in both cases, I don't want to do it, and I can't do it. I couldn't do it if I wanted to.
Absolutely.
There was a hot minute between it becoming obvious that freelance writing was collapsing as a sustainable profession.
I remember.
And receiving an absolute life preserver from a late relative that allows me to make this show for a couple of years and hope that eventually it makes money. I did think I'm just going to go into sanitation. I'm just going to get a real fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenna's trying to explain to me what the hours are like and that we're trying to have a baby. And I'm like, but just doing things just like, Dylan, you're going to hate it. You like the idea. You like the idea of doing this kind of job because it will make you feel like you're a real person.
Mm-hmm.
You will not like it. You will hate doing it.
And you may lose a limb or two.
And you might get, yes.
Yeah.
It will be
it's
bad
dangerous.
for you.
It's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and you will smell bad all the time.
Well, smell worse.
Yes. I mean,
by the way, all these return with a V guys who are like, oh, I just want to be a farmer. You would be dead in a grain silo in 12 hours, dude.
For sure.
No, you could not do it.
And not even because they don't know, but because they'd be like, well, but it won't happen to me.
I know, that's the thing. They would just walk on top of the grain and be like, oh, I'm too smart.
I'm too smart to get sucked in by grain.
I have an Aristotle bust in my profile. That can't die in a grain cell.
Anyway, we've gotten way off track.
And I'll keep doing it. But the so that's like the part of the appeal to me about it. And on top of that, like the motor, the sort of engine of the movie it's a Marx Brothers movie.
Yeah.
But you've really fucked with who's the Marx Brothers and everything. It's like Venkman is Groucho, clearly.
Yeah.
That couldn't be more obvious. I'd say Egon is Harpo. He's not talking that much.
Yeah.
He's not as silly, but he's certainly sort of that. He's almost like otherworldly.
He collects spores, molds, and fungus.
Yeah, Zeppo shows up about halfway through the movie to be like, hey, this is odd. This is what, I'm going to be the straight man. And I would say with Ray, because Italian had gone out of fashion as a comedy choice, I would say instead of being Italian, I'd say he's into trains. I think that's sort of his vibe.
Oh, I mean, I can't beat that, but I would say it's like if he falls into the category as if you took like a nice caricature of just like a waspy guy as opposed to like the sort of meaner one, which is usually the snob character in a Slobs versus Snobs. He's a little,
it's funny. He doesn't seem like he grew up rich, but he has that. And I know people who grew up rich and it didn't make them snobs. It made them friendly babies.
Yeah. He has a little bit of that. My parents left me that house. I was born there.
Like he was able to just sort of spend most of his early life in the yard looking at bugs.
He was a professional academic, right? And he could have continued doing that and he would have been fine.
It's like shocking to me when the house somebody was born in isn't now a parking lot in Louisiana where people get stabbed in the neck.
Does happen rarely, sometimes they stay around. But yeah, like he third mortgage. He gets out a third mortgage on his home.
3 mortgages these days.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that line a lot lately.
Something that someone who grew up with money would do and be afraid of.
Yeah. So we've got the sort of working class hero element that you're trying to preserve.
Right. And you've got the anarchic comedy, the sort of 30s, 40s, like sensibility.
Yeah.
To these, like this comic quartet. you've even got like a Jerry Lewis, Scott, with I can't believe we even talked about Rick Moranis.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Sort of the performance of the movie. You remember it as Bill Murray's movie. I think Bill Murray's great in it, and I think he's a strong second place to Rick Moranis, the funniest guy in the movie.
Nice. Hey, this is real smoked salmon from Nova Scotia, Canada, $24.95 a pound. It only cost me $14.12 after tax, though. I'm giving this whole thing as a promotional expense. That's why I invited clients instead of friends. You having a good time, Mark?
Yeah, Rick Moranis runs away with this film.
He literally runs screaming, "You will perish in flame," tripping over garbage in the street.
Funniest line in any of the movies is in the second one when he's defending them in court, and he's their defendant, like their lawyer, and it says, "I got turned into a dog, and they were really nice to me." Yeah. It's like that's so funny. Anyway, you got all of that in there, so you've got this sort of like older, like sort of classic comedy sensibility, and I was saying it's like bringing it back. I do think the Paul Feig movies do something right. Movie, not movies. That does something right, which is it's a little agnostic as to whether Ghostbusters even happened or not.
Yeah, it's interesting and probably the best way to handle that. Yeah,
I think there's one better way to do it.
Okay,
and this is my way, which is to remake it entirely. Ghostbusters never happened.
Love that.
The cast. This is a little. I'm going to start with the cast.
Okay, I'm so excited for this.
I want all unknowns. I want 19 to 23-year-olds who like use TikTok and are not TikTok stars.
Okay.
I want guys who they're a stranded generation. If they had Jackass, they would know what to do with themselves, but they these guys. You see them. They're filming themselves like at their high school when they're younger and now just like on the street, just like throwing golf putters at each other.
Yeah.
Guys who are like doing parkour, but not trained in it and just get hurt, like that. I want these guys. I want, so I think tonally what I'm sort of thinking for this version of it is, did you guys see Rap World?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Connor.
Wait, you haven't seen it yet, right?
I've seen I did not get to finish Rap World.
You did not. Okay, I see what that means. I love Rap World.
I won't reveal the big, amazing joke that you haven't seen yet.
I'm gonna.
You can spoil it.
Here's the thing. We're not gonna have a whole thing there. Conor O'Malley is a guy whose bit I love for 3 minutes tops. I absolutely love him for 3 minutes, and then I'm out. I'm done.
Toby Hanna, I only eat Benihana. Riding down the street, I'll see you mañana. A county in Pennsylvania brimming with vitality. You drink the cold water, you'll be infected with immortality. Fly private jets.
That movie, I understand, completely, perfectly captured something for a lot of people who watched it, and it went right through me. It just didn't work for me at all.
It was definitely in my top 5 of that year.
It was. I remember because we counted down your top 5 movies on the show.
It was like number 3 or number 2 on my favorite movies of the year.
I did give it a shot. I really wanted to get into it. It just wasn't for me. But Branson, please do your bit.
I got to say it was for me, Dylan, if you don't mind me spoiling the end. And listeners, you've had ample opportunity to skip ahead. Use the 30 seconds right now. That cut to the funeral is the funniest thing in like any movie.
Yeah.
That's all. So I think something like that where it is largely, we could even do this as like a found footage kind of thing. And I think found footage horror, I know people don't like it. I also like jump scares. I like found footage horror. I like jump scares. I think
found footage
horror
is having a resurgence. I think there's been like a lot of critically well received found footage lately.
I also think that a found footage horror comedy, there isn't a seminal example yet, and that might be like what you're describing to me. Almost sounds like if I may invoke another more wretched Nepo baby of an 80s film director. It almost feels like you could do like Chronicle style. Like, right? These kind of like shitty high school kids who...
Isn't it so great, by the way, that when you say a more wretched 80s comedy,
you know exactly
we
what
all
I'm talking about.
We didn't have to say it's the girl listening to this.
We don't even have to say his name.
Have to say.
But like the idea that so what I understand is that you basically want to do a movie about a bunch of sort of lost high school, college losers, right?
Losers. And I say that this is the exact type of loser I was until a year ago. Like this, you knew me when I was this kind, like losers who, and I want to see them while they were like filming a stunt or a prank or something, they see a real ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes it into the footage, and they want them to flip out and be like, yo, like, touch it.
Yeah.
Like, I want that. I want touch it as to be like the general ethos. I want them to discover that they can touch and therefore trap ghosts and immediately try to monetize it. Because I do think that element of Ghostbusters is another part. It's Reagan. It is a real reflection of like Reaganism and Reaganomics. I think it gets a little bit more of a bad rap than it deserves.
Sure.
I'm not saying it deserves a bad rap, but a little more than is like necessary.
I mean, listen, I adore Ghostbusters, but it is one of those. It's a movie that I cite as an example of a movie that, like, I do not have to agree with the political subtext or text of a movie in order to love it because Ghostbusters.
I agree. I'm with you. I this also, there's plenty of movies with like a hard right bent to them that I'm like, but I like it. You know, like, okay, yeah, that does. I agree. That's a terrible thing to say. I enjoyed all 94 minutes of it. Though. Like that, and I think Ghostbusters is like a little arch in how it's presenting it. I think like there is an element when I watch it as an adult of like, we can all see that these guys are a little bit lunatic, like the movie is choosing not to really take this threat seriously. And if it was, I doubt it would come down in the same way. And maybe I'm just just a dreamer.
They are kind of dirtbags, and like,
they're not trying to. I don't really think that making a political statement against government regulation was something they were really thinking about when they made the movie. It's just a matter of the culture at the time it was made, right? Culture is what goes without saying, right, folks?
I would like this movie to reflect the current moment in that way of the sort of gig economy, like monetize it. Everything is a gambling app.
Yeah.
Like I want that really gross, that sort of like Trump's America where everything is the tourist parts of Las Vegas, like that is what I would like to count with these kids where like they see the supernatural and they do the same thing they do in Ghostbusters, but it's not really addressed, which is we can monetize this.
Yeah,
it is addressed. But I want to really lean into like, this is profane what they're doing, but I'm not making an episode of MASH, it's like we're still on these kids' side, like
it's like how in the original, like the religious implications are not like seriously dealt with because that's not their concern. It's like, oh, we can make money from this. It's dealt with insofar as like, Harold Ramis's character is kind of a religious scholar and he like knows this stuff, but at no point does anyone ever go, so this means God is real or fake, like,
and I think it's better that it does. I think it's actually to the movie's credit. Yeah. That's a very like, a post Mystery Science Theater kind of like comedy writing that didn't really exist at the time. And I'm glad.
But, even going back to like what you're saying about casting with the TikTok stars, like, I think, it's someone who like makes really funny TikToks, but he's not a TikToker, like doesn't know, it doesn't hashtag it or doesn't try to promote it, like is just like doing dumb shit. And like maybe a couple of them go viral or whatever, but like they don't really know the social media game. Right. And I think that's a fun thing to carry on into the characters as like they try to monetize it. They're like, oh, well, fuck, we should make an app. Like, oh, okay, well, I'll reach out to someone on like Twitter, and then they get scammed for like $500. And then they make an app and it looks like shit. Like it looks like an early GeoCities thing. Like it's barely functional.
TikTok too. I hope it's clear that I'm just using this as shorthand of I'm 37. I have no other, and thank God I have no other access to young people than what shows up on TikTok when I'm seeing a high schooler throw a chair at another high schooler and then turn the camera around to face himself and he says, I was bored. Like that to me, that's the funniest thing I've seen all day when I see that.
Exactly.
And so I just mean that energy.
Right. Yes.
Like, and I don't care who we're getting these kids from. I just want genuinely the way that like Kevin Smith discovered Jason Mewes, like guys like that, just guys who it's either they're going to be in this movie or they're not hitting 30.
Vine compilation guys.
That's the energy I would like to capture in this as they discover that they can, ghosts are real. They can see them. They can therefore catch them. They start doing this for money. And then rather than getting famous, which I think to me is one of the more like negative, pejorative, like movie beats of Ghostbusters is like the Time magazine cover and them, and like the ghost blowjob and all that. Like, then what I would like is to touch on the panopticon that we live in, which is not funny and terrifies me all the time. But we can make it funny that these kids get. The government's going to absolutely kill these kids.
Yeah,
and I think that's the end of the movie. And it's not as triumphant necessarily, but I think we have a similar like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man size event that the kids. I'm saying kids. These are 19 to 23-year-olds.
Sure.
That's a kid to me now that I'm looking down the barrel at the rest of my life. They discover an event of that size. They prevent it. And then rather than being able to like celebrate their success, the government steps in and was like, obviously you understand, like our hands are tied. We have to kill you. Like you've seen it. You've been uploading all of this, by the way. Like you can't. No, this can't continue happening.
Yeah.
So they get killed, and there has to be this little beat at the end of the movie to imply that one of the big tech giants, like 6 weeks later, launches a completely legal, like thinking about the way that like
the Ghoster app,
so that the people who already have billions of dollars can now can now. The people who already have the billions
Tinder
of dollars
for ghosts,
can now monetize it and turn their millions into tens and hundreds of billions.
And maybe that's a happy ending, actually, because then you get like a 2-minute montage of that Dan Aykroyd blowjob scene of just everyone using the Ghoster app to just like hook up with ghosts all the time. Because here's the thing, those kids, then they're ghosts. They get blown up, then they're cool. By the way, and I would love to do it with actually like the same like wet puppet style.
Oh, great. Absolutely.
And I think you can that will look better. Like those now out of date special effects will look better on a camera phone. That's
the thing about a lot of like found footage stuff is I feel like the practical effects on a shittier camera look horrifying, like in a way that like when they CGI stuff in, like it just doesn't. Yeah, but like
I was just watching today. I just watched This House is Full of People. Have you guys seen this?
No,
it's on YouTube. It was an Adult Swim thing, but it's straight up like a horror film. It's like 12 minutes long, and it's like surveillance, and it's like home video footage, but it's not clear who's filming, like where the cameras are set up in a house. As like several disturbing things happen to the family. Like somebody starts sinking through the floor, and it's like played for horror. It's pretty good short. And I think that, but it's so much scarier. You see, at one point, a baby is put down, and it starts crawling out of the house, and no one's attending to it, which is scary as an adult. Just what much scarier on camcorder footage.
Yeah.
You guys have seen Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I actually have not. It's on my list. It's on my list. I need to.
I know there is a home video segment in that movie that the movie's not I mean, it's like a hard watch, but it's not scary. That part is very scary because you're watching home video. The rest of it's a movie, which takes place in your imagination, right? A film, 35 millimeter, like to me at least, it's like, oh, I'm watching a dream of some sort. Home video footage, though, I've seen myself on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my birthday party at McDonald's when I was a kid was filmed on a camcorder. So when I see camcorder footage of something disturbing happening, that really upsets me. That's like, that hits me on a very different level than the dream logic of other. And so I think that could be played with a little, like that sense of unreality could be played with in this movie. And I think if the ghosts are actually like a little disturbing in that way, it'll make these kids' reactions to it much funnier, because then you'll get the crucial thing of Ghostbusters, which is Bill Murray not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. These kids, but rather than him not taking it seriously in an, I went to Second City way, these kids will be not taking it seriously in a, they're too dumb to like, I'm a little afraid for these kids kind of way, which will bring it just a little bit more, just move the dial just a little bit. Now it's a little bit more a horror movie, which is always what I wanted out of Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. And I think I like keeping the movie mostly really small, right? Like, they design like some really shitty app after they get scammed, but like the only people like on it is like the stoner at the high school or something who just like thinks it's funny.
Yeah, I think they should be set like in the suburbs. For sure.
And like instead of like an EPA agent, like it really is just like someone from like City Hall that's like, man, you can't film here. This is private property. Like,
I think there's that. I think it's the guy who was assigned their case, because it's like, I'm so paranoid, but it's like anytime I send my friend a text about like how I feel about what's happening in the government.
Sure.
I will like as a little joke, but I sort of mean it. I will send a follow-up text being like, by the way, to the like whatever CIA agent who like has to look through all of this. I'm a wimp.
I do this all the time.
Well, you get it. That guy that maybe I've imagined, but probably not. That guy gets assigned to these kids pretty quickly, and it's just I want to see this person's perspective too. Of just like you dumb kid, you're moving a little faster than I can keep up with, but I'm watching all of this happen. Like you guys have got to stop.
Well, I kind of think it would almost be funny. Like, I mean, this part of it is not funny, but you know how like all those cases came out, like the FBI basically convincing mentally ill people to like say they were going to do terrorist things just so they could arrest them. Like one of the kids is like. Has been like flirting with someone on like WhatsApp or something for like the whole movie. And you find out at the end that it's been an FBI agent the whole time, just like monitoring them by like pretending to be like a hot lady who wants to, you know, suck him off or whatever. And yeah, it's just he's been basically groomed into doing this entire thing so that they can like, you know, swoop in at the end and like take the tech and then, you know, license it to Elon Musk or whatever.
And now in a meta way too, I am thinking about you guys here.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about your bottom. I'm thinking about your bottom line. I'm thinking about your wallets and how thin they are. You know, they're not stuffed full of cash like me, a webcomics artist. You guys are lowly film producers. You got narrow little wallets.
We need that webcomic money.
This is going to cost you nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you spend all the money getting Ghostbusters. You're filming this on phones. You're getting unknown talents. You're doing practical effect puppets. This is. I mean, you could make this movie for $50,000.
Yeah, now, for sure.
Because you're not paying the actors. I know you guys. I know how you feel. But when the mics are off, I know how you guys feel about unionization and stuff.
Of course,
I know.
We'll link to their TikToks in the credits, and that's enough. That's exposure. It's
exposure, and they should be. And and by the way, where's your thank you?
Yeah, exactly. TikTok's going to be the ones paying out the money when they get all the followers and the views and stuff. So
here's the thing. Here in the pod universe, usually, you know, our idea is like, okay, what's a property that you don't that's not being used, and so we can work out the sort of within the metagame of the show. This is something that perhaps our studio could gobble up for a remake. This is one of those examples where like, and I've been thinking about this in terms of as we are expanding our pod universe as an original thing, right? We legally can't risk importing characters from like direct remakes of other things.
Sure.
Right.
Now, I don't know if this story could fit into the pod universe based on the rules we've created for the pod universe.
I mean, we haven't made a rule that says ghosts don't exist.
That's true. So maybe, but I think this premise doesn't need to be called Ghostbusters or use any copyrighted Ghostbusters brand stuff. I think it's just a good idea for a movie.
Yeah.
Here's unfortunately, this is a bit of an expensive pitch.
Okay.
You call it Ghostbusters. And you open with a cameo from Bill Murray who says, or no, from Dan Aykroyd. You're not going to get it from Bill Murray. No. You open with a cameo from Dan Aykroyd where he says, I endorse everything that you were about to see.
Yeah. And I think it's good and that Ivan Reitman would have approved it as well.
Yeah.
I know I've added $400 to the budget by getting a Dan Aykroyd cameo. Did you guys ever see Evil Toons?
No.
It's a bit of an off-ramp, but it's Fred Olin Ray. The great Fred Olin Ray, one of the great directors. It's a real. I bet you would know the Blockbuster VHS cover because
Possibly.
it's a sexy lady and a cartoon like demonic little like Tasmanian devil guy on her shoulder.
This does sound familiar.
It's called Evil Toons. It was made in the wake of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I think it's the funniest of the Who Framed Roger Rabbit like ripoffs. Like Cool World Who. Evil Toons is so much funnier because it is, I would say, Dick Miller's in it.
We do love Dick Miller.
Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
We all know that cover.
Yep.
This dude is rude.
That cartoon is in, I am not kidding you, 24 seconds of the movie. It is almost entirely like I don't think they ever wear shirts like co-eds who just like, oh, I'm in a haunted house, like just jumping up and down. Like And then a cartoon shows up to be like, by the way, remember the VHS cover? And then he's gone. I would love to open the movie with a similar way that this movie opens.
Mhm.
The funniest part of that movie, it does a little bit of the Ghostbusters 2016 thing. The absolute funniest part is it opens with a quote from Fred Olen Ray, the director. And his the quote is, "Everything that you see in this movie actually happened. I truly believe this." That's the opening quote of the
That's
movie.
really good.
It's really good.
It's and I think this movie should open with Dan Aykroyd being like, "I haven't seen the movie. I do endorse all of this. Like, we pass the torch to them."
No, I think Rap World Ghostbusters is so good.
Especially given how little it would take to produce, I would love to see you actually make this movie.
Hey.
The more I think about this, the more I'm like, why did I say? And I, no disrespect to you guys, but like, why did I burn this here? You know?
No,
well,
right.
And we do 100% own the rights to this now. And,
no, all right.
all the intellectual
We should
property.
actually say, because this is on public record, and we don't want to establish the precedent. Branson, this is your pitch, and we haven't paid you for it, so you can do what you want. Because I want to see the movie.
But it should open with a quote from Dylan and I saying, "This all really happened.
We truly believe
this."
So we would never want to get in the way of you making this movie for real.
Of course.
No, and believe me, I wouldn't let you. Something else will get in my way, which is apathy, lazy. I'm busy.
Yeah.
It does cost money.
Not knowing how to make a wet puppet. Like, that's beyond
Dude.
me. I couldn't make a wet puppet.
You start with a dry puppet and you submerge it.
But to be clear, if anyone we can prove watched this video and then makes the movie that Branson just pitched, we will be coming after your ass to the
Connor
full extent
O'Malley,
of the
we
law.
are watching you.
So this is, in a way, I've mailed the idea to myself. You know,
Yeah,
the post office
you
is involved.
put it out there in the world. Now you can prove that if anybody makes this movie, and if literally anybody clicks to watch it, you can sue them.
I mean, should we put out there as a possible director, Connor O'Malley?
Sure. If he's interested, God, I should be so lucky.
I mean, right, not in like if fantasy casting and
Right.
directing it. Like,
Yeah,
I think
you always pick a director.
like. Not for him to like be in it, but I think he obviously understands this type of format. He understands like the weird guys on TikTok who, go viral but don't know what they're doing really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like he's, as much as like the content he puts out with his face in it is like so out there and stuff, he's an industry guy.
He
like,
is.
He
Yeah.
knows
No, listen,
how.
yeah.
He's written for television and movies and appear like he can make like a marketable film as well while still retaining his sense of humor. And I think this feels up his alley,
Don't we know people who know Connor?
Probably.
Let's get this.
I definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah, Branson, ask him. Let's get him on the phone.
Let's get him on the horn. Let's make this fucking movie.
I just think it would be a good idea.
I think it would be a
That's all.
great
I think it
idea,
would be a good
Branson.
idea.
Please leave us a comment, like, and subscribe if you think this should be a real movie.
And leave a long, hateful comment if you hate the way that they handled the Jaws remake.
yeah.
Don't make it just one video. Keep commenting on the other ones. Let them
Bring
know you're
up
still
the
mad.
Jaws pitch on every one of our videos.
Do the thing people do where they're like, I see still no apology for the Jaws video. So we're just going to brush this under the rug.
Yeah, just going to ignore this, huh? I'm going to ignore the reaction.
But I have matches. I know that you watched every second of this video to make sure before you posted that there was no apology, just in case we did it in the final seconds.
But we're still not going to do it. And this has been Patrick Willems pitching Ghostbusters to us right here on this episode. Do we want to talk about what their like sort of catastrophe should be? Because we've talked about sort of the general,
right.
The general kind of feel of the movie, and like, yeah, we keep it small, and we keep the the people that are trying to stop them small. But there is something that eventually gets national attention, right? There's something like that blows up in this town that's like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man type event. And then that also allows us for a climax, right, to like expand into everybody's phones, right? We start seeing like, people around the town, all their live streams, their posts and stuff.
See, now if we're talking about it in the scale of like a Rap World type thing, I don't think it ever needs to get that big.
Well,
sorry, Branson, go ahead.
If you want to. And I specifically didn't say this, but it seems to be coming up naturally.
Sure.
Maybe they start killing people.
The ghosts?
An element of Ghostbusters, I always know, the Busters, They run out of ghosts because here's the thing. It's a rare phenomenon. They're like, we need to make more ghosts to catch more ghosts. So this is real. This is when you get into real, like, relatively heavy-handed satire of like, sort of one way to, you sort of have this limitless resource. All these people, you know, they're in the suburb of probably a pretty big city. A lot of people. This might be how they start getting national attention of like, hey, have you noticed a lot of people have gone missing? And then a wet puppet that looks a lot like the person who's missing gets caught in a video.
I like the idea of them like being at first like, okay, but if we're going to do it like Dexter, and we're only going to kill bad people. And they like camp out outside a bank just like waiting for someone to rob it or something. Because they're like, well, how do we find bad people?
Well,
like,
if you think about it, bankers are pretty bad.
Yeah.
So they just go in.
Well, that's when they really start getting the heat of the establishment on them, is who they target as bad people to do for ghosts.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you go like Albert Fish with which bad guy, but like, you know, no one was really checking in on the type of people Albert Fish was killing.
Yeah.
So they start there and they're like, it's not really getting the heat. And we'll go after a bank. Then it starts getting the heat. And then the movie has really said something important, which is.
And then one of them is like, actually, you know who's really bad? My 11th grade algebra teacher. Like,
it starts getting really personal.
Yeah.
It's like, my stepdad actually would make a great ghost.
I like this because I'm sure there's lots of people who go into the world of tech because they're trying to solve a problem, right? And then the hook of, I could make a lot of money gets into them. And then they're like, I better fucking make sure this problem persists. or else I will not be able to grow my business exponentially forever. Right. And so they get to, in a way that I'm imagining very much is like a fucking like Stella sketch, right? Where it's just, every cut, they are going deeper and deeper into this hole they create for themselves. I think that that's really fun, and I think that if we are going to still have the twist at the end, where as soon as they're dead, you get the big tech, like legalized gambling, legalized drugs version of this from the people who already have money and power. It becomes like people were going to fucking do this anyway. They just didn't like who was getting paid. Right? This is always going to happen.
It's a little bit like, that would be a little like you guys seen Four Lions, right?
I have not.
I have not seen Four Lions either. You're gonna bring it up. You're making us look like fucking idiots right now, Branson.
No, but nothing I'm referencing is like Criterion.
Every single thing I ever log on Letterboxd, there is already a review from Branson on there.
It's true that you're right. I do not have steady employment. It's like what's happening there. Well, I would actually never mind. It's sort of a spoil. There's a real tone shift at the very end of like, oh God, this is like not. This is a heavy thing that's been treated farcically, and then towards it, they're like, and by the way, this is a real thing that is very heavy. It's a good movie. I liked it a lot.
I mean, this is much darker than the original Ghostbusters, but also in a way that, if we're talking about Connor as a potential fake director for this, like, is absolutely in his wheelhouse of like, oh, this is some really dark, sort of disturbing stuff that is also very, very funny. I like the idea of like, as they're starting to kill people, them not knowing how to make a ghost, right? Like
obviously not everyone who dies becomes a ghost because they were not constantly surrounded by ghosts.
They kill like 4 or 5 and are like, fuck, that's still not like, what do we got to do? Like, and then they kind of stumble upon it and they're like, okay, so this is the kind of conditions.
I like if it's a little like It's Always Sunny-y, where like they never figure it out, but they're pretty sure it's something and they're wrong. So like they keep killing people in this one where it's like, oh, it turns out if you're really angry when you kill them, they do turn into a ghost. And like, that was just a coincidence. And the movie, it's like Groundhog's Day, where it never really explains how this is happening.
Yeah.
It's like, it just and like we don't know either. It's just like for some reason only some people become ghosts. I like keeping it ambiguous, but they think they've got it figured out and they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a nice way to handle it.
And then they go back to just absolutely killing someone for no reason again. And then at the end, they get taken out by like a SWAT team.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, I think that was there any other aspect to the pitch you want to go over, Branson? Is there anything we've missed?
No, I think that's the full. I think that is the only thing I admit I'm missing is a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man set.
I think there should be some sort of climax that sort of, is a little goofy
See, all right, so my feeling about this is, in terms of managing the scale and also continuing to use the time that we're making it, I think it should be the kind of scale where it doesn't necessarily even make it very obvious to everyone in a geographic place, right? One of these strange phenomenons of living in the time that we're living is there are people and events who seem so huge and ubiquitous to the people who know about them that they have no idea that other people don't know about them. Like, that is how siloed we are in social media, where, like, there are lots of people out there who don't know that J.K. Rowling's a huge, huge transphobe. They know about Harry Potter, and they think about Harry Potter every day, or they see Harry Potter every day. The thing that is so obvious to us that we've been hearing about for years is how she has been weaponizing her entire fortune and making her only mission in life to pass as much anti-trans legislation in the United Kingdom and abroad as possible, right? Lots of people do not know that. It's just in the circles that we travel and that we post, the people whose posts we read.
So
they talk about it all the time.
And, you know, a lot of actors who did her new show claim to have only found out about it after the check cleared. Isn't that so crazy?
That is so weird.
I mean, it's plausible, but it's unlikely.
So you're saying the ghost at the end should be Harry Potter?
What?
The ghost should be Harry Potter at the end, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is the ghost event, the kind of fame that they should be reaching is the kind that people who care about paranormal stuff or goofy shit posters on TikTok or whatever app.
Right.
They are ubiquitous. Like, we all know and we all love drill, right? Do our parents know who the fuck drill is? No. But I knew I was going to marry my wife when on her first date, she says, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, but have you heard of drill?
Okay, we're getting a lot of examples. I still don't know what you're pitching for this movie.
It needs to, what I'm saying is the event that is the big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man thing. It doesn't have to be of a huge scale. It doesn't have to be something that TV cameras are going to notice. It could be fucking literally anything that would go viral among the small group of, the subsection of people who care about this thing.
I got it.
You got it?
They kill Stephen King, the inventor of ghosts.
That's true.
They're like, that guy invented ghosts. If we kill him, then he'll be the biggest ghost of them all. And I think they drive up to Maine and they fucking shoot him.
That's pretty, like going after like, some, because they want the kind of, press so that they can start making more money. The other thing I was thinking, because you were saying like, people that are interested in this thing, is they accidentally find Bigfoot and kill him.
Oh, just like another thing that was like, would have actually been a much bigger deal.
Yeah, but they accidentally find Bigfoot and their first reaction is, well, we should fucking kill him because ghost Bigfoot.
Yeah, I think at like a certain point in the movie, they'll just start killing like way too much. Like the momentum is carrying them. Like they order food and they're like, well, we got to kill our waiter.
They also could like they could turn on each other, right? Like maybe, like they're like, well, fucking, Dave's behind on the rent. So, you drew the short straw. Let's kill you, make you the ghost.
Yeah, you're worth more to us as content right now than you are as a friend.
And then that's the one who is texting with the FBI agent. So once he's dead and can't text anymore, the FBI agent's like, well, I guess it's time to move in. I'm not getting any more intel.
Yeah. And actually, the intel I was getting from you guys was that you're stupid and harmless.
Yeah.
But now if this guy is dead, like I have to
take it seriously.
I still have to move on this.
And I have approximately 300 dick pics from this guy.
That's really fun. Or if they're like, the FBI, by the way, has a certain number of people you're allowed to kill before they start moving. And you guys were nowhere near the ceiling.
Yeah.
You could have killed 200 more people. That's fine.
No, they're waiting for them to cross state lines just once, right?
And then and then to get Stephen King,
they have
to go to Maine.
When they go up to Maine, that's the issue.
Okay, now you're serial killers. It's across state lines. All right, we can
the whole trip, you're wondering if they got Stephen King to be in the movie. And I think it's funny either way, right?
Yeah,
Either
you just cast an ugly guy. That's funny.
But like the idea that like they don't film themselves killing, is they still found footage. They don't film themselves.
They just get the wrong guy.
Yeah. They find
the first big house in Maine.
All right, I think we've got it.
We've circled around it. I don't know that we haven't worked out all the details, but that'll come in the screenwriting stage.
All right, so Branson, you've been very gracious joining us on our show.
And the thing is, I think you've threaded the needle on like this is a take on Ghostbusters that is so singular, I don't think people can get mad about it.
Oh, they can get.
They
can
can
be amazed.
People
the capacity.
can get mad,
but they're really.
Let us know in the comments if you're mad about it.
I
don't
bet
know.
they've already typed it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it absolutely works as a Ghostbuster reboot, but it's like it's fragmented so much that it would be hard to be like.
And could be
this
very
makes me really
easily
mad.
done as a legally distinct film property.
You know what we can also have to really touch on this at the way that we have the cameo from Aykroyd at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, we have an actor coming out wearing and he just looks like any boomer.
Yep.
Any boomer dad. He's wearing a shirt that says "Your Dad."
Yep.
On it, and he looks right in the camera. He says, "I'm proud of you, boy." I think then we're good.
We are good.
Cleared to go.
Take a seat here and watch a movie with me.
He tosses a baseball at the camera. Catch.
Holds up a beer and says, "Hey, take a sip. Don't tell your mom."
This is a good movie.
Yeah. That's all you need from most movies. All right, Branson, thank you so much.
Yeah, tell us what you got going on that you would like our audience to check out.
Check out Rude Tales of Magic.
Of course.
We didn't even talk about that one in your intro.
That's got to be one that has some fanfic out there, right? Rude Tales of Magic?
They do. We definitely got some fanfic.
To anyone who's unaware, what is Rude Tales of Magic?
It's a D&D actual play podcast that's funny. That is the pitch of it's funny, it's gross. If you liked hearing me talk and you're not mad about what I did to Ghostbusters, you might really like Rude Tales of Magic. I've heard also, it's like not everyone's got the patience or the inclination. There's a little bit of a theater kiddie kind of energy to actual play. I'm not saying we're clean of it. I just think it's different. That's all. I just think it's different. Hey, listeners, I think it's worth your time. Also, we do a Star Trek themed one called "Oh These Those Stars of Space," which is a blast. I love that one. Check out Swan Boy. Go to swanboy.com and please watch Strip Law on Netflix in February.
Hell yeah. I am looking. There are 24 entries for Rude Tales of Magic on AO3.
Are there really?
Yes.
Damn.
There is a significant amount, and it's many different authors too. It's not like they're all from the same person. There's a lot of people writing Rude Tales of Magic fanfic on here, and some of it does appear to be kind of horny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed on I almost said AOC. AO3, right?
Yeah,
That's what it's called. Anytime it's not horny, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
you can publish your non-horny stuff anywhere.
Yeah, right. That should be in Harper's. This is horny stuff.
Submitting my fanfic to The Atlantic. Well, thank you, Branson. We are going to stay on for a little bit because we have a trailer for our next canon film in the Pod Universe, Los Alamos.
First solo script of the new saga.
Yeah. By the way, I think if we didn't make it clear, we are greenlighting this Ghostbusters film.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I want it. Greenlight it in real life.
I really want it.
I think this is like a good idea, actually.
It's a really good idea, and you should make the movie.
There's also,
if there's anything we can do to help, we would love to.
There's also,
when it comes time to pitch it, if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to link to this YouTube and be
like, the video.
You got an hour and a half. Yeah.
Well, thank you. We're going to stay on. Stay tuned for the Los Alamos trailer. And Branson, it was lovely to have you on again. Thank you for stopping by. Another iconic fan favorite, I hope.
We'll see.
We'll see.
This episode is brought to you by Dim Stars, a novel of outer space shenanigans by Brian P. Rubin. The gist of this one, if you've listened to the show before or watched the show before, you've heard me talk about it. It is a novel about Kenzie Washington, a 14-year-old girl genius who signs up for a 2-week tour as a cadet on the spaceship of her idol, Captain Dash Drake. Turns out, Dash Drake ain't exactly what she expects. And here's the first page of the book to establish exactly what that is. Dash scrubbed furiously, but the dark stain refused to budge from the airlock floor. This is what happened when you had an octopus for a first mate. From the other end of the airlock came the hum of anti-grav motors and the squeaks of tentacles on tile. Dash glared at Squix, who walked through the corridor on 2 arms, pushing a hovering cargo pallet in front, while pulling another 2 behind. He was nearly finished loading their cargo onto the lift and marked the new additions on his handset with 2 free arms. I can't believe you. Squick faced the captain, waving his 8th arm like a white flag. I said I was sorry. So there's a little establishing the tone here. We've got a squid alien who has inked on the floor at an embarrassing time.
I believe he was an octopus alien.
Okay, but his name is Squix. Okay, so let's not split hairs here.
Let's not squick hairs.
Yes. Can I also say how weird it is to read something in the past tense on this show?
Yeah,
we do screenplays that's always in the present tense, and so like I probably cut around it, but I was so tripping over reading this because I just don't read novels aloud very often, and they're often in past tense. Anyway, you can find Dim Stars wherever you buy books, or check out dimstarsbook.com for more information. If that grabbed you, go have a look. Go check it out. And thank you very much for doing so. Now back to our show. All right, we're back.
We are back. That was Branson Reese with another really unexpected and zany pitch for us all. I think
plucky duck voice, expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, which is the only way you can do Ghostbusters.
Absolutely. The expected ways have been done and they didn't work.
Yes, they didn't work. But I think found footage TikTok dumbass Ghostbusters is maybe the only future that franchise has for it anymore. Until they make Frozen Empire 2, which they will.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we said, next week on the pod, we are back to our regular full canon pitches. Our third entry in the pod universe proper. It's going to be my pitch, Los Alamos. A very, very different film than Last Flight of the Stone Hammer. Well, you know what? Let's just do the trailer, and so you can have some idea of what to expect. Fade in on a military vehicle driving through the desert. It approaches a makeshift town surrounded by barbed wire fencing. In the backseat of the truck, Dr. Adrian Barnier, played in the film by Jacob Anderson, looks out the window, frowning. Cut to an office where Adrian stands in front of General Leslie Groves, played by Clancy Brown.
Now that you're an official asset of the U.S. military, would you like to know what we're working on here?
You're building an atomic fission bomb. Montage of explosion tests, Adrian observing through protective goggles. Cut back to Grove's office. And how many Negroes are here in Los Alamos?
As of today, 1.
Cut to Adrian entering the townhouse he's been assigned, suitcases in hand. The downstairs tenant is having a party. We can see them down the hall, all white, gathered around a piano. They do a double take at him as he walks up to his apartment. Cut to Adrian sitting around with the other scientists, including one played by Wyatt Russell. A weapon that guarantees peace. How exactly does that work?
The human cost will be too high. Nobody will want to take that risk.
Have you ever known man to build a weapon and not use it?
You think we should share our work with the Soviets?
Quick shot of Adrian sliding some research notes into his briefcase, then sitting on a bus out of Los Alamos with the briefcase clutched in his lap.
Don't tell my husband, but I actually agree with you.
Adrian stands with a woman, Lorna, played by Kirsten Dunst, sharing a cigarette away from the party. Oh, you're trouble. You're real trouble. Montage. Adrian sneaking out in the night through a hole in the fence. Adrian leaving a building to find a government agent waiting for him, putting him in the back of a black car. Lorna speaks in voiceover.
You think you're smart enough to take on the U.S. military?
Adrian sitting in an empty room, hands handcuffed behind him, blood drooling from his lips.
The Soviets.
Adrian gets in a cab while through the back window, out of focus, we see a man in a suit getting in his own cab and following.
Hell, the world itself.
Adrian drives a car through the desert, frantically looking at the trucks pursuing him in the rearview mirror.
But you're not.
Adrian gets off a bus. A man in a gray suit is waiting for him, leaning on a street lamp. He is played by Mark Rylance.
Perhaps I wasn't clear enough with my prior warning.
No one can see the future.
It's not the future to me.
Rapid-fire shots. Adrian, blurred and stretched, duplicated infinitely, every movement made visible at once. A military jet in the sky, leaving a similar trail, seeming to travel backwards down the path. A burned-out city with a 100-foot-tall metal tower in the middle of it. Adrian stands at the bottom, looking up. A noose hangs from the top of the tower. As he watches, another version of himself steps forward, putting the noose around his neck.
My apologies, Doctor. I've given you too much to ponder.
Title: Los Alamos. Coming to podcatchers on November 9th.
intriguing, which I think is exactly the word you're looking for, right?
Yeah, I hope you're intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
What's your reaction?
Well, it does something that I mean, obviously, I know that there's a big genre element to this because I know what the grander stories that we're telling. I know this has to do with our split universes that we're playing with. But I like that it does a thing that I like a trailer to do, which is establish a genre, get the hooks into an audience that's interested in that genre, and then add an additional genre.
Yes.
Towards the end. So you're like, oh, whatever movie you've been picturing this whole time, you've only been picturing a small portion of it. There's way more to this movie than we've been setting up for you. And now you have to wonder what it even fucking is. But we already have your attention. Like an example, a very obvious parallel example is I don't think anybody can say that the trailers to Don't Worry, Darling weren't good.
Yeah, true.
This made me think of Don't Worry, Darling, a movie that doesn't work. But this gave me that same feeling of, I like that the setting is something that I am interested in this take on this setting and this idea, but there's something more on top that even knowing what story we're telling, I don't fully understand. That's very cool. I think you've picked a really fun cast. You mentioned since this is going to be a Spielberg movie, you've got Mark Rylance in there.
Yes.
A guy he loves and who I also love. Also, thank you for giving me another opportunity to do Clancy Brown.
Look, I can't avoid casting my guy Clancy Brown.
I didn't get to do any like specific actor voices in the previous pitches that we've done. I'm excited that I get to do Clancy Brown again. Now, Sarah, have you read any of this before?
I have not. I have not read a word.
Okay, because I know that sometimes you're Dalton's first reader, and I'm curious if there is something that what is your impression out of this?
I don't have a strong one yet. I mean, the Kirsten Dunst kind of flirtatious spy stuff is very fun. I do know like what movies it kind of calls out to, and we watched one of them together. And I've heard a bunch about the documentaries that were used as inspiration as well. So
yeah, I think I've told her a lot about it.
Like I have knowledge, but not a final image in my head.
Full disclosure, I still haven't written Act 3 yet.
Wow.
So,
you truly are going Dylan mode on this. The script is really fucking long and there's no third act yet?
Not yet. Well, I know what's going to happen.
I know,
just haven't
but you haven't put pen to paper. We were going to record this in like a week and a half, right?
Yeah, we're recording this in probably a week.
Wow.
So I'll probably read it before the recording.
If you want to.
Yeah.
That's right. You're allowed.
All right.
I am not. But this is exciting. I guess we are all going to have to get comfortable with you or I using the word Negro.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate part of this. Like, my character is a black man in Los Alamos, of which historically there were none.
Okay, so in this universe there is
one. And that was a word used at the time.
No, sure,
that we don't use anymore.
That was considered to be the appropriate parlance of the time.
And
it would be weird if we referred to him as a person of color.
This character will be the recipient of some casual and not so casual racism, but I did not put any slurs in there because I'm not gonna do that.
Yes,
just one borderline slur.
Negro wasn't a slur.
It wasn't
at
the time.
At the time.
Now you wouldn't use it, but it's a period piece. I think that's understandable.
Yes,
this is the awkward thing of us just being who we are and trying to tell stories that reflect the larger world. Occasionally, we're just gonna be like playing people we're not, right?
Yeah.
I hope everyone's cool about it.
If not, let us know.
Yeah.
But go ahead and theorize on the Discord and on social media what you think is going to happen based on that trailer.
Yeah,
and
give us your thoughts and we'll pick our favorites and put them on the air.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens in a week. And of course, we have on our Patreon right now the bonus pod. We just did an episode last week where we covered The Breakfast Club.
Yes, we did a Dark Universe take on The Breakfast Club featuring Hunter Marin.
Yes, which
in
actually
a role that might surprise you.
Yeah, and if you are a fan of the Dark Universe, this is the first time we have canonized something that takes place after Hell on Earth.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Kind of soft canon. But
also started our new 10-part film series where Dalton and I pick movies for the other to watch.
Yep.
Dalton is curating a bunch of 1950s and 60s and I think maybe early 70s horror movies. That series is called Mid-Century Monstern, and it began with The Curse of Frankenstein, the first canonical horror hammer horror film with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And Dalton watched the first of my picks of just great films Dalton hasn't seen,
Mhm.
which was 1976's Network. By
What did
Sidney
I
Lumet.
think? You'll have to listen to the bonus pod.
Yeah,
And we
that's
also
right.
talked
It'll cost you
about
$5 or a free trial of 7 days. They can start whenever you want.
Yeah, and we talked about our thoughts on One Battle After Another. We have merch at shop.thepoduniverse.com where you can buy not Los Alamos merch yet, but you can buy
Not yet, but you can get
Stonehammer
Stonehammer,
merch.
Last Flight of the Stonehammer merch, and Pod People merch, and it's just shit with our logo on it.
Yep. So feel free to join us in the Discord and talk about things. We also, I don't know if it's up by this point, but we are working on getting the Pod People score up on streaming.
Yes, there's at least one track available right now for free on our Patreon that you can just stream there. But if you want to download it, you have to be a patron, and it's going to be up on streaming services just for listening like any other piece of music. So please include it on your playlists of your favorite scores, and you know, and then people will hear it. It'll be cool. That's terrible.
That's okay. We're running out of steam.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
It's a long week. We just did a long pod. Let's shout out the patrons, and we'll be done.
Thank you to our executive producers, Brent Dreyer, Brian Egan, Denim Mudslide, Diana, Jonathan Morgantini, Caleb McFarland, Matt Thackeray, Michael Mensilis, Mike Lee Whiplash, Soonmot, and Speep. Thank you so much for your $15 a month membership to this show. And thank you, as always, to our studio executives who give us $25 a month for the privilege of getting a nice little shout out and picking one of the movies that we talk about on the bonus pod in our studio mandates section. Thank you, Alyssa, the Pazuzu apologist, Bill French, Beerus, Brandon Bullock, Eric Lasco, Jasper Stark, Joe Valiant, Cadle, Moose, Rich Mays, and The Wayfinder.
Ooh.
Yeah. And until next time, I had a funny one from
You had a funny one?
From Branson, a reference to something that Branson did, and I fucking lost it.
Oh shit. Is it something about social media? Is it about ghosts? Is it about getting killed by a SWAT team?
No, you know what it was? It was just us getting killed by a SWAT team at the end of the show, and I didn't budget for it.
Oh, you didn't SWAT us?
I didn't bring in the two goons that we established earlier in the episode to come kill us.
Until next time, tune
you are
in
now
next time.
exiting
the pod
universe. I like that one okay, but I feel like we can do better. If you have thoughts, we're still accepting applications for what our sign-off is going to be.
Unless you're listening to this 3 years in the future, in which
case it's too late.
I really hope that we figured it out.
Uh-huh.
But thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.